Okay, I'm live. But I can't see over there. It doesn't see, you can't see it. It's a little murky. I wonder why. The lighting, maybe? Hello, good morning. I think I'm going to just and this one too. Good morning. Ah, all right. So twice people came by, and I am that I am. I like that. Are you sure? I am that I am. Indeed, indeed. Ah, wow. Bev, hey. Amen. I am that I am. Yeah, it's a great way to start the day. Modiani. Hey, Patricia. From Texas. Abilene. Nice place to live. Hot. Probably a very nice place to live. Got fired this morning. Oh, join the club, man. We can do more good when we're not doing busy work for the cabal. Lafneca. Well, yeah, sorry about that. I mean, a lot of people are having serious job issues. I mean, this is we're in the final, I think the final struggle. I mean, it seems to me that things are moving pretty fast. Hey, Karen. Yeah, I think things are very chaotic. I mean, in my own inside of my own reality, I'm a little bit confused today. Yeah, I am that I am. I am also not going that way. And now they're telling me, I mean, now I'm seeing things that break my heart about, girls not being women not being considered for marriage because they have gotten the medical treatment. I mean, there's a lot of really weird things, really strange thoughts of where this could lead to, and it's just the thought streams of reality are moving in so many different directions with such fervor. No notification yet. I know. I feel like it's imminent, but I mean, if you look at Torah, but it just seems like, everything just kind of comes and goes. I mean, on Friday is the plague of the firstborn. And this, by the way, I'm just going to go through this. We could also do it tomorrow, but it says that the first 9 plagues were done with. Let me get the exact. Right, the first 9 plagues were executed by the name Elohim, which is God as he is in nature, which signifies God's attributes of severity and judgment. The respite that followed each plague was a manifestation of the name Havaya. In other words, there was a rest in between, and that was God from a higher level, which signifies God's attribute of mercy. Havaya, I guess, is mercy, yeah. insomuch as Pharaoh and the Egyptians were already familiar with the name Elohim. They were already used to God as he is in nature. Um, it was not the devastation that caused, and the purpose of the plagues was to get them to recognize. So the purpose of the plague was to get them to recognize Havaya, not Elohim. They already recognized Elohim, but it follows that the main part of each plague was not the devastation it caused, by the rest that followed it. That's so interesting. So it wasn't really. I think there's something in it for us, right? It's not necessarily the aggressive attacks, the September 6th and all this other stuff. It's the time in between, that's where, Havaya, that's where God's mercy really shines forth. I'm glad I am that I am. I mean, it's really hard. It just, like, nothing really makes sense anymore. No, like, using logic to any of this is useless. It's like using a bent hammer or something. It just doesn't work. In contrast, in the case of the 10th plague, now this is the plague that we're coming onto tomorrow, really specifically tomorrow night, which is the plague of the firstborn. And I was thinking, I mean, yesterday, that this really, when we had a meeting last night, and hey, Irene, we had a meeting last night, and it really seemed like that Yossi said something, and he was saying that the CIA being implicated as part of this crime of the century. You know what I'm talking about? That the CIA was, like, behind the whole thing. This is huge, and to me, this implies that. Hey, Richard, I can't thank you enough. It totally saved me, man. I don't even know what to say, man. I'm beyond words. I mean, thank you. I almost don't know. Whatever. Thank you. I hope I can do something nice back some way. Anyway, so the 10th plague is, to me, when I was listening to Yossi, when I was thinking about what Yossi was saying about how there's implications that the CIA was directly involved in this attack on the people of the world, the people of the United States, and their choice in, when they were making a choice, when they were trying to be counted. This was a directly counterattacked by the CIA amongst other forces. And that, to me, this, due to the timing of it, this just rings to me of that this is the firstborn. When you talk about the firstborn that have to be destroyed, we're talking about, like, the CIA, the FBI, all these, the Congress, a lot of the Senate, a lot of the government, a lot of the deep state. I mean, the whole deep state really is behind this incredible treasonous activity. And as a result, this was considered the greatest miracle of all, because it instigated a civil war. It's instigated the firstborn were fighting the people of Mitzrayim. Horse stuff. Yeah, by the way, everybody should know that there's something called black cumin seeds. If you want to get that same effect, that's the natural ingredient that has it. I actually ordered a supply for myself. I'm hoping that will help me at the tail end of this, my sickness, that if I take some of these seeds, I'll be that was well timed, right? I'll be put back to rights. Anyway, so this last plague, to me, because the timing involves, really smacks of the CIA, and it smacks of a civil war, perhaps, too, although we're not seeing that yet. But all these bad boys are being exposed, and I think I mean, I was convinced last night that the EBS was imminent on Friday, and now today it's like that thought is completely gone from my consciousness. Yeah, I don't know about all that about Yashka, but the CIA is trafficking illegal drugs as well and poisoning us with, yeah, yeah, and chemtrails, right? Yeah, Richard again, thank you. Um, so, um, yeah, so this last plague is really critical, and this is it's during this last plague that the Jews actually leave Mitzrayim. They actually leave slavery. They actually leave, and they say no country has ever left from within a country before. And this is like Egypt was not an easy place to escape from because you had the Nile on one side and the mountains on the other. That's why it's called the narrow place, the place of constriction. Right. Um, so yeah. Yeah, so that's the narrow place, the place of constriction, and that's the impetus for this plague comes from Havaya. It didn't come from Elohim. It come from the higher name, the name that's associated with mercy, but it's really the four-letter name that's above nature. The gematria of the name Elohim is the same as Teva, which is nature. So so this means, nature and Elohim are really one, and um, Paro could understand that. I mean, the Egyptians were all about nature and the natural gods and the reptilian gods. If you look at their hieroglyphics, it's all about these reptilian bad boys underneath. And wow, if you guys are watching what's going on in Almada and all over the world with the explosions and the earthquakes and the rods of God, yeah, a lot of evil people. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's so interesting that we have like a completely different thought stream. I mean, I actually, I mean, because I'm taking this medicine, I'm a little bit groggy and I actually slept. I'm not a person, I don't like to sleep very much. I don't like to sleep. I mean, I take quick naps, but I actually fell asleep this morning after making my video, and I woke up. My wife wakes up with the radio, and the radio they had Liz Cheney talking about how what this the horrendous thing that took place on. I mean, it's just like really. I mean, how this news is like completely outside of our thought stream. It's just like I was really shocked that people really even listen to this kind of thing anymore. Socks on for coughs. Uh huh. Yeah, I'm sorry, Irene. Yeah, it's hard. Like the normies are just insistent. I was trying to. Yeah, they're doing a lot of crazy stuff. The CIA is not on our side. They haven't been for a long time. I mean, they were started in the 40s, I think, and they've been kind of a rogue organization ever since. But they're very good at taking down governments in foreign countries, and they've done the same thing here. And it's really, I think, a lot of people are going to be hanging, like humming. Hey, Priscilla, so nice to see you. Right. The worst terrorist attack ever was last year, ever in the history of mankind. I mean, a couple of old people went into the Capitol, to take pictures. I mean, that's, the most, that's the biggest terrorist act in the history of the planet. It's kind of pathetic. I mean, it's kind of a joke, but people actually believe this stuff, and people line up for the medical treatment, which is obscene. And by the way, my wife was asking me about Ted Cruz. Ted, is it Ted Cruz? Yeah. That why did he switch sides all of a sudden? And I think the bad guys like to blackmail people, and I think they did some sort of blackmail about his daughter the other day. I was noticing that was kind of taking place. Right, I know on some calendars, right, it is. Not my holiday, but yeah. Which show, Irene? I lost my yeah, Irene, you gotta just let him, he'll hear what he has to hear. Is like, I don't know if there's really a successful way to really convince people. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody has suggestions for Irene to help her convince her husband, but a lot of us have this issue. I mean, I'm blessed that my wife. I mean, we don't see eye to eye on most things, but we at least agree about the medical treatment. And thank God, because my son. Yeah, I'm saying that Ted Cruz. I think that they're blackmailing him, and that's why he's coming out on like the wrong side of the news right now. Pray for him. Yeah. I mean, these people they're just like, they're so evil, and they don't, they don't have any sense of morality. They're like completely amoral. So it's a very difficult enemy to fight. If you have morality, we don't want to lose our morality, but we have to fight them with strength. And that's why I took it out of my tape this morning, but I just repeat it just for everybody to remember that King Shaul was supposed to destroy Amalek, and he said, you know what, I'm going to do one better for God. I'm going to keep a lot of them prisoners, so that'll be even better for, God will be really happy. And God was not happy at all. So, Shmuel Hanavi, the prophet of the time, said, no, you did a bad thing, and you should have, destroyed them completely. And this evil has to be destroyed completely. We cannot be, it says in Chumash all over the place that you have to destroy the people, you have to destroy their altars, you have to completely, that before Mashiach comes, Amalek has to be completely destroyed. Can't leave, some of it. Can't leave, a couple of good guys. They're not really so bad. No, it has to be completely and utterly destroyed, removed. Their memory has to be erased. Yeah, they are murderers, and they'll stop at nothing. Well, I don't think it's not even a matter of backbone. I am that I am, because their threats are, I mean, imagine, God forbid, I don't want to even like think of this thing, but like if somebody came and said, your children, I'm just saying, these are, you can't. We don't worship Molech. We don't sacrifice our children for no reasons. And but I think there's a lot at play here. I think there's a lot of good guys behind the scene. I have to believe that. By the way, I was decoding something yesterday, and it said SA, and I was misled to believe South America. I think that means Saudi Arabia. And I think there's going to be a reveal soon. But anyway, let's get back to the Chumash. So We are dealing with the last of the plagues, and this is the most devastating, and this is the plague that's most beneficial to the Jewish people because it instigated a civil war where the Egyptians were fighting against the Egyptians, and this allowed them the power and the moment to get the heck out of Dodge, which is what they did. And really that leads into tomorrow. So today we're not actually talking about that. That's why I'm not really expecting. I would expect if anything radical was going to happen, it would happen tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back to some degree. I mean, we're talking about Ted Cruz now. Yeah, we have to pray for him. I mean, I think the Nassau reset, I mean, from what I'm hearing, it already happened. I don't understand why it's not getting out there. They're talking about this 2022. Now, this is when the banks are basically all being told, you have to change over from the SWIFT system. You have to change to this 2022 system. 200, I'm sorry, 222. And you can check it on DuckDuckGo. There's information out there. But the banks are being told they have to change. Now you sit in the deep snow. Yeah, we told my son, he's never really helped us with snow shoveling for some reason. But now he's into like working out and he's physical. So it was supposed to be a snowstorm tomorrow. So we told him, you got to shovel tomorrow because Tati is still under the weather. I'm still not. I really can't go outside yet. But I feel a lot better than I did the last couple of days. I mean, I'm coming out of this, but I'm still like a little bit groggy, and I think the medication is in a way worse than the disease. Thank you. I am that I am. Yeah. Anyway, so we're the reality of the situation is that I'm completely believing that tomorrow the EBS is going to happen. They're going to make the announcement. We're going to switch over consciously to Nasara Jasara, but it doesn't seem to be in the light of the day. It doesn't seem to be so possible. I don't understand these rivers of reality and how they flow. I don't really understand what's going on. 48 say that it's a mess. Interesting. Evil will confound themselves. Yeah, that's what the plague of the firstborn. And that's the last plague, and that's the only plague that's run by Havaya, by God's name, as it is above nature. So there's a lot going on. I mean, why it's not revealed, I don't know. Now, on the other hand, a case could be made. Those of you who took my Kabbalah course, who know a little bit of Kabbalah, they talk about the four worlds. So this is like, to me, this is the world of thought. So in other words, before you build a building, you make plans. So these are like the plans for the future reality, and that we will be leaving slavery, we will leave the SWIFT system, and the Fed will be completely and utterly removed. It has to be. I mean, I'm taking an inhalant and some antibiotics, and it's working. I mean, I was really in a disgusting state before that. I don't like taking antibiotics, but I'm taking probiotics and everything else. But it's a process. Hey, Allison. Hey, Doc. It's going in and out. Yeah, antibiotics could be. Maybe Ted Cruz is a bad guy. I mean, that's possible too. Wow, this is great. Well, we have 24 people. This is really monumental. Yeah, I felt like the EBS, I felt like it was going to happen tomorrow. It seems so real. I know, to me too. Yesterday, it seemed so real. And today, it seems like, excuse me, I woke up with this radio playing about this Liz Cheney saying that this is the worst terrorist attack in the history of mankind. I mean, we don't know who anybody is anymore. What is NASARA? NASARA is the National Economic. I wrote it down. National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act. It's basically it basically will forgive a lot of forgive debts. We'll get paid back for the interest we paid. Um, the Fed will be gone. It'll be a piece of history. The Fed is a private corporation, by the way. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that, but it's a private corporation. It's nothing to do with the government, and either does the SWIFT system or the banking. The banking is, you know, the banking system is just designed, and the banking system and the IRS. All these structures will be gone forever. I mean, they're kind of like sort of like doing this. I call it sort of like a ghost dance, but they're kind of like ghost ships. Like I talked to somebody, I have like an IRS situation, and I was talking to a guy who I hired to like take care of it for me. And he says he can't even contact them, that they're all on vacation in Puerto Rico or something. I don't know. It's just like the whole thing is just, it's a mishkabobble. Oregano oil. Thanks, Patricia. EBS and oh, it's working now. It's working, Paul? You mean the internet is working? Inflammation, yeah. I don't know even know what inflammation medicine is. Maybe that's the Vicks Vapor Rub. Um, but yeah, the stock market went down yesterday. The crypto market went down yesterday. Gold is down again. I mean, I think this is the deep state doing their last hurrah before they all go to Gitmo. I mean, it sounds like a lot of them have already been to Gitmo, but I think there's like some final last operation that has to take place, and this has to be made public. I am not a rabbi, and I'm not broadcasting from Israel. I'm broadcasting from Crown Heights, which is almost like Israel. It's kind of like little Israel or big Israel in a way. Right now, it's like big. Well, I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of forces at play. There are a lot of good and there's a lot of variations. Everything is. Paul, I like that color purple on your insignia. That I've always been a I love purple. I don't know why by Mr. B would say that. Yeah, no, I think a lot of them are like, pushing up daisies, so to speak. I mean, a lot of these bad boys, and there are actors playing a lot of these people or clones who they have cloning. So a lot of these people that you see in the news could be clones. If you think that, the I don't know, if you think that the Clintons, let's say, for example, I don't know if it's really them. I don't know if they've been removed. Wishful thinking by the potato, yeah. I don't know if it's again, we don't know what's going on. There's no way to tell from my research. I mean, there's no way to tell anything. I mean, I'm looking at all this Tartaria thing about we don't even know like our most basic history. We don't even know what happened. We don't even know what happened. What's happening right now? We don't know what is reality. Reality is a construct. So Yeah, they want us to work remote because they can control us better. I don't think they want us hanging out with each other. Yeah, Karen, you're absolutely right. There has to be a reveal, and that's what has to come soon. How that's going to happen, that's all about Karen. You're learning about the Anon situation, but this they've been planning this for a long time. Yeah, a lot of clickbait, right? So let's just go by Torah. I mean, even if you just go by Torah, hot lemon with olive oil. Uh-huh. I'll try that. Yeah, that sounds good. Um, you caught up a little, yeah, because that's critical information, and it's really, I mean, go to DuckDuckGo because that's they don't censor it. They don't censor your searches. But anyway, so okay, so that's it. So we're coming into the last plague, but in today's parsha, let me get through this because I want to get to the Tanya today because it's really it's very important Tanya. So he Moses is telling the guys, get your sheep together. Uh, oh, let me just. It's just my mom. I just. Well, I'll call her back. She hung up anyway. Um, thanks, Irene. Almost impossible that those people are still alive. I agree, Richard. I don't think those are the actual ones. If you look at them closely, they don't look the same. But in today's parsha, so they're marking the doorposts. Ah, will and not allow the destructive plague to enter your houses. God will pass over the entrance of your houses, and it's God, not an angel, but God will pass over the entrance of your houses and not allow the destructive plague to enter your houses. And you must okay, oh, and they're telling you, okay, so let's go to you must observe the practices and sacrifice of Passover as a statute for you and your children forever once you have entered the land of Israel. So we always have to keep Passover. That would be, by the way, that would be a very good question. If anybody who's a Noahide wants to ask my friend Rabbi Rogalski about keeping Passover, I mean, I know you for sure you're not obligated to do it, but I think that everybody should celebrated to some degree. We must maintain this service once you've come to the land. So you have to keep Passover. Is it Passover? Is it the Passover offering to God who passed over the houses of the Jews in Israel, in Egypt, and when he plagued the Egyptians and spared our homes? So that's what today's parsha is all about, is to keep the mitzvah of Passover and to mark your doorposts so that God can come over. So this is all preparation. And this is like when we talk about the four worlds, we're talking about like the planning stage, you're making your blueprints. This is all blueprints. And later it will come into action. Like, so the four worlds are at Silus, which is like above, it's above creation. It's where all possibilities exist. And then we come into Berea, which is the world, the land of thought. Then Yetzirah, which is the land of emotion, the world of emotion. And then Asiya, which is the world of action, which is both the lowest world and the highest world, in that it is, in a way, it captures God's essence in the doing, and in the fundamental creation, in the real creation, in the creation of the physical matter, which you could say is the lowest level. It's also the highest level because it has God's atmos, God's essence. And it's created in a way that's not through Seder Histalshelus. In other words, there's a great chaining down of reality. Reality comes through all these steps, and all the holy days. Yeah. Shabbos at sunset. Yeah, sunset is like in New York. It's like 4 o'clock now, so it's really early. And there's a minhag. There's a custom in Chabad not to say kiddush on red wine because it refers to Saturn or Mars. I guess Mars is the red planet. I think so. We don't say a kiddush on red wine between 6 and 7. So most of the families with little children hurry home from synagogue. The fathers hurry home from synagogue to make kiddush before 6 at this time of year. Later, as the time becomes, as we go into like 5 o'clock, and the time change happens, it becomes impossible to. Yeah, I still have a cough. Yeah. Hey, Tara. So that's a very interesting custom there. So you actually people do make a kiddush on white wine during this time, but we were very careful not to make kiddush between 6 and 7 at night because it has something to do with, I think it's Mars, with the planet Mars, and red wine. Interesting custom. I mean, we don't really know where these things come from, but yeah, I still have a cough. Okay, so let me go now to let me just see what time it is we're dealing with. Okay, so let's see. We're moving along because today's Tanya is really pivotal. It's like it's a major Tanya. It's often quoted. Ki karov elecha b'davar ma'od. This is like the quintessential piece of Tanya. Ki karov, for this thing, right? Elecha, that I'm giving to you, it is near to you. My trans hadever mi'od, very much, very much. And okay, so this is what this Tanya. Now this is chapter 17, and the gematria of 17 is comes out to the word tov, meaning good. Okay, so 17 is a very chapter 17. This particular expression, it says, "For this thing is very near to you in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it." Et me'od means very much, very near to you. So this is a critical piece of Tanya. Raining and sleeting there. Wow. Yeah, it's nice to be inside in a warm house. I was watching a channel where a guy was making a little like house out in the woods. He was digging a structure, a temporary structure, but I wouldn't want to be out in the woods on a rainy day. It's funny because I was once hiking on the Appalachian Trail during a rainstorm, and every time it rains, my mind flashes back to that time when I think it was dark. I remember it being very dark and very rainy and very cold. When you're hiking in the rain, it's really, you don't forget it. I mean, I also hiked in the rain in the Appalachians in the not in the Appalachians, in the Adirondacks for like a whole day. I marched in the rain, and you never forget that. It's just it's like the rain just sears into your memory. I do. I have a rabbi that I follow. I follow many rabbis. Is there one rabbi I follow? Not really. Honestly, not really. I look at a lot of things. I like to look at when I, you know, when I have. I like, I just don't have the patience. I follow the Rebbe. The Rebbe is my rabbi. I mean, I I connect with him, and I also connect with the Friedricher Rebbe, the Rebbe before, because the when I first came to Chabad, the shliach that I went to, Rabbi Posner, was a a shliach of the Friedricher Rebbe. So he had a picture of the Friedricher Rebbe on his desk, and that was the first Rebbe I ever saw. So I feel like a connection to the Friedricher Rebbe. I feel like a connection to the Rebbe's father. I feel very close to them. I sometimes have dreams of the Rebbe. So and the Rebbe's come to my aid a couple of times. I've been at the Ohel, and I've made certain prayers at the Ohel that have helped me a lot. Yeah, I mean, Rabbi Friedman is he's great, man, and YY Jacobson and Yossi Paltiel. I mean, there are giants out there. There are many other rabbis who are not as well known, but there's a brilliance in the Chabad community, the teaching that's going on right now, and the compassion and the understanding that it's not just for that this is that the Rebbe didn't do this just for his Chassidim in Crown Heights. This is a world, the Rebbe sent people all over the world, and he emphasized and he cried. I'm sure he cried about the Noahide, that people have to understand the Noahide laws. That is so important. For a non-Jew to be a righteous Gentile, if they follow the Noahide laws, they're good to go. I know a lot of people in the Yashka thing and they worry about whether they're going to go to heaven or not. I don't know any Jewish people that even think about that. I've never met. I don't think I've ever met anyone who really worries about it. It's just like it's kind of like wherever you are. But anyway, this idea that God is very close to you. This is pivotal and very important, and it's ma'od and it's tov. It's good. It's 17. It's the number 17. Karen, you can check on the number 17. That's the letter Q is 17. So a lot of people are focused on that, but it means tov. It means good, and yeah, I'm so happy, Karen, that you're finding that, because it'll bring you a lot of peace to know that you're not alone. We're not alone, guys. There are a lot of us. Probably the majority of human beings on the planet are with us. It's just that we have an obstacle of the mainstream media. But so the thing is with this, it says, like, how can you say that God is very close to you? Because it's not. It seems like it's very hard to deal with. It's very far away. So why is he saying it's very near to you? To change one's heart from worldly desires to a sincere love of God, for by nature one is inclined towards the former. So I find, I mean, generally, like, to sort of generalize, that people who are not involved with the Jewish world, like non-Jews, are very strong on simple faith, and it's this simple faith is, breaks all obstacles. Everything can be accomplished through simple faith. So it's the complexity and it's intellect that can really get in your way. Excuse me. So how could this be? How could this thing be very near to you, in your mouth? And they just say, a human's mind inherently rules over his heart. Therefore, a person who contemplates the greatness of God, it will cause him to love God and cleave to him through Torah and mitzvos. So, and is written in Duties of the Heart, desires for worldly pleasure are unable to dwell in the heart together with the love of God. So and they're saying here, Moses, indeed, comment on Moses' statement. What does God ask of you but to fear him? And the Talmud, the Gemara says, is fear of heaven a simple thing? Is that a small matter? No, it's huge. To be afraid of heaven, to be in awe of God, it's not so easy. And they say, our sages say, that only tzaddikim, only really holy people, have full control over their hearts. So the rest of us, I mean, I talk about myself, on a good day, the rest of us are struggling with this. It's like, how do you not attach to physical reality? How do you get out of your own, your own needs into a love of God. This means the hidden desire of the heart, even if it does not burn openly like a flaming fire, yet it can still lead one to fulfill the commandments. So, the matter of arousing a love which remains hidden in the heart is very easy and very near to every man who has a brain in his head. For his mind is under his control, even if his heart is not. And with it, he can meditate as he pleases on any subject. So, if then he will contemplate with it on the greatness of the Almighty, he will inevitably generate in his mind at least a love of God to cleave to him through the performance of his commandments and the study of his Torah. So the takeaway is doing a mitzvah is so close to you. Just think about God. Think about his greatness of God, and you will love him. When you love him, you will do what he wants. Now, this, again, this is like, this is why it's always good to have a teacher with you when you read these things, because it makes it sound like, love God. It's very easy. Just open your heart, and it's not easy. This is the struggle of lifetimes to really to have conscious contact with the Creator, and to keep it in your mind, during the day. When things come up, when things are happening to you, it's not ma'od, it's not so easy. It's not very. Ma'od means like very easy. Um, so this chapter is not to be used to beat ourselves up about that. You may not feel very near to God. You may, some of you are very holy. I don't doubt that you experience this level of holiness, but the Tanya is a roadmap. And sometimes you have to look at a map for a while, and you may not be able to climb up Everest, but it takes a lot of planning, right? It takes a lot of planning to climb the big mountains. And you have to have the right gear, you have to do preparations, you have to do the exercise, you have to have oxygen and all these other things. I mean, my son and I went on I think we did 26 miles in 2.5 days uphill, and wow, was I not prepared for that, man. My feet were not prepared for it. I had new boots, and but we made it. We made it through it. I mean, I made it because I was just chasing my son for 2.5 days. I was like, he was like so far ahead. But anyway, this is like to point you in the right direction. Yeah, but I mean, the reason I love the Rebbe so much is because the Rebbe was, he was hard on people. I mean, he expected a lot of people. He didn't believe in retirement. He didn't believe in, take it easy. He always, when people did like monumental things, like Stein, it was a Stein. I'm not sure. One of the guys who he actually translated all of Gomorrah into English, and I'm not sure, Stein something. Anyway, the Rebbe was always like, okay, so now you can really get to work. I mean, he was not like one to like let anyone rest on their laurels. He was always pushing for more, but he had a basic, a sense of compassion and understanding, and that comes through in Tanya, and that does not come through in other Jewish, doctrines. I mean, if you know about the Musar movement, the Musar movement is like, you just don't do bad things. You're like this all the time. I mean, that does not work on me personally at all. But it's not easy, right? Yeah, we're all struggling, and the struggle, and it says in Tanya that if you're not a tzaddik, God loves you completely, and he loves the salty and the sweet. So if you're struggling with these things and you're not there yet, I mean, join the club, but it's the struggle that at least we're trying, and sometimes you mess up, and you just have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and keep going. Yeah. Mine has a tendency to wander, yeah, 100%, and it's okay, it's, like, it's a beautiful thing in a way. I mean, if you look at, I don't know, you look at life, I mean, it's not a straight path, but it's a very they say, I was looking at this thing on, enlightenment this morning. They say that it's like a very high level to be in a place where you can accept kind of whatever comes and accept the message in that moment, and whatever God has to convey to you in that moment. And to not like really worry about what's going to come up next. Like if you're in the fear space, it's hard to really produce. Um, you know, what can I say? I mean, Richard really kept me out of the fear space this morning. I have to thank you again. I just, I'm using the excuse that I'm not feeling 100%. I mean, I have ways to like help myself, but I'm just like, I'm not quite doing anything yet. And I'm just, I just need to rest a little bit right now. I can't, and all this, the thing with the EBS and the Nasara Jasara, it's, I believe it's happening. We can't see it. We know the military is working hard. There are all these, you can see the evidence of the earthquakes taking place all over the world. Glory days, not gloomy days. Yeah, these are days for moving forward. So, yeah, so you just, but you guys are all beautiful souls, man, and it's so nice to see you every morning. It's just, this really is like the best part of my day. I was completely confused this morning. I mean, like I said, I slept more than I usually do, and I just woke up like completely confused because usually the coffee kind of like helps me get back on path, but right now coffee is not really, it doesn't really work on me. But we're struggling, and that's okay. It's like, if you're there and you're not struggling, you're probably deluding yourself in some way. There are those moments of exhilaration where you're standing on top of the mountain and you look out over the valley. Yeah. Yeah, the Jews were out in the desert, man, all by themselves with godliness. The story of the Miraglium, the spies, that it wasn't that they were really, they wanted to sin against God. They just really liked being in the midbar. They really liked the situation of the midbar. They didn't want to go into Eretz Israel and have to do mitzvahs and have to live in the world. They wanted to get the mana, and they wanted to be able to do mitzvahs and not have to worry about changing their clothes. Remember, they didn't change their clothes in 40 years. They had the clouds of glory, kept everything clean and pristine. But we were not meant to stay there. That was a part of history that um, we can look back on fondly. But it's in the struggle. It's in the daily doings. It's in forging ahead no matter what. I mean, with all the obstacles that we're being faced with losing our jobs and all these other things, all these health issues they're bringing up, and the spraying in the sky, and the medicine, and it's we're in the middle of the war. This is the end of Gog and Magog. This is not like an easy time, but the Kabbalah has to be broken. These people cannot be in control anymore. Right, but we never, like, the Tara, the thing is we never really win completely, at least, like, we can win in stages. I mean, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm just saying for me, it could be that, you never really win, but that's okay. You just keep fighting, and that's really what this is all about. Yeah, thank God. God is, and that's why I love the Rebbe. I mean, the Rebbe to me is like, um, yeah, I'm taking steroids. I'm taking like I'm taking this stuff. Um, and it makes me groggy. I don't really like it, but it definitely helps with the cough. I mean, I'm coughing less, believe it or not. Yeah, as soon I was told as soon as we fight with it, it wins. Right. Yeah, I mean that's my personal belief is that if you take it head on, it's like, I used the metaphor yesterday. If you go into the tiger's cage and you hit it right on the nose, man, that's like the Yetzer Hara. That's not necessarily the approach you want to take. Yeah. So, be gentle with yourselves, be patient with yourselves, be patient with others. We're going through a very difficult. This is really the Great Awakening. This is the coming Mashiach, and there are a lot of like great sages that said, I don't want to be there during that time. We were selected because we can handle this. If you're here now, and especially if you're on this channel, man, you can deal with this. I mean, that's why you're here. I mean, a lot of people could not handle this, and a lot of the normies are just fizzling out. I mean, it breaks my heart some of the memes I'm seeing about girls not being able to that nobody wants to date them because they took the medical treatment. I mean, that is just like please God, the med beds will take care of this. I'm sure they could put nanoparticles that this is a level of evil that we're not really equipped to deal with, but we are dealing with it. Albuterol. I don't know what that is. Yeah, kind of losing it. I'm getting dizzy. I mean, embrace ambiguity. That's a good one. Yeah, that's very good. So Khan's suffering with the same thing as me. Tell Khan I wish him a refuah shalema. Drinking garlic tea and a batch of garlic. Yeah, I'm going to do that right after this. Right after I get off, I'm going to go have some garlic tea with ginger. Yeah, I think that the importance of community is critical. That we help each other. That we know we're not alone, and that this is part of the Great Awakening. Is it easy? No. Yeah, I'm getting a little dizzy. Yeah. Yeah, don't lose hope, man. We're gonna get through this, and it could happen. And it could happen. I mean, yeah, green hot tea and add honey. Yeah, I'm gonna add honey and ginger and lots of garlic. I love garlic, so I don't have a problem eating garlic. You use so the garlic is sweet. See, I like garlic, and I like eating raw garlic, which is not my son sometimes complains that he knows that I like raw garlic, and he wish I didn't like it so much. Vicks on the bottom of the feet. Okay, Carla Joe, I'll take that to heart. And we're running. Yeah, we're coming up to 12 o'clock. Man, I love you guys. Thank you for getting me through this, Richard. I can't thank you enough, man. You saved my behind again, and I gotta get out of this mess. I keep waiting for Nasara Jasara to kick in, and it just it could have kicked in tomorrow, yeah, but I have to start making plans. And I was told I wanted to get out of the lawsuit and just retire, and my people said, you got to hang with us, man. You got to help us through this. So I'm going to hang in there for a while. They said at least hang in till February. But Richard made that possible, man. You should take the credit, Richard, for getting me through January. Um, the IRS. I'm on a payment schedule with them, and they're just where are they? Nobody can reach them. This great ghost ship that's like sailing in the Pacific somewhere, and or they're in Puerto Rico right now on the beach. I'll tell my wife to get me some Vicks. She probably already has. Yeah, go busy. Okay, guys. So I'll stop with my endless Jewish goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow, and hang in there. It's going to be okay. Thank you, Smitty. Come back, Smitty Smith. Come back, and we'll chew on it again tomorrow. And again, we do this Wednesday and Sunday nights as well, 7:45. So may the force be with you, Priscilla. God bless you, man. Thanks for coming from the Neverlands. It adds so much weight to know that we have people from all over the world here. Okay, God bless. Do not dehydrate. Sometimes, yeah, I got to drink some more water. Thank you. I'm going to drink water and tea and everything. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for, for being there. And thanks, Priscilla. We'll make it through, man. We're going to get through this. God bless. All right. Enough Jewish goodbyes, right? It takes forever.